Now, does potential income and current income play a huge factor in divorce cases?
Well, yeah, the problem with the prenup is that you don't know what's going to happen. You know, there's some famous cases where somebody was rich and they signed a prenup making sure the other side didn't get any of their money, and vice versa, I don't get any of their money. And then the other person became wealthy. And the person that was famous, you know, a ball player who only plays for a few years and then blows all their money, sometimes it switches. So it's very hard to predict the future. Most often, prenuptial agreements are more about family money or money that you've earned if you get married later in life and you've accumulated some wealth. It's more often to protect that. And then what happens during the marriage is usually up in the air. But we've had agreements that say, look, I'm a professional athlete. Anything I ever earned from playing in the NFL stays mine, because it's not just that I'm playing during the marriage, but I practiced when I was in 8th grade and I played hard when I was in college. And after we're married and after we're divorced, it's my body that's going to suffer, and it's my knees that are going to be shaky, and it's my head injuries that are going to come back to haunt me. So if I make money from the NFL, I keep that, and you get X or you get 10% or whatever. So, but again, as many options as you can think of, and I bet your head's spinning right now, Jordan. You know, you can think of so many different ways to decide how to divide income or assets or inheritances. It's just thinking ahead of time so that if you get divorced, it's already done. It's already pre-decided. So if you want a divorce, you get divorced and you get remarried. You don't have to fight about money for years and years and years.
So you mentioned like ball players, and we always see, you know, they make significantly more money than the person that they're with. And it just seems a little unfair that, you know, some people might, you know, have to give up 200-300K a month, and it seemed like you could be okay with, you know, 5-10K. How does that happen? And when I say this, I know, but just for the general audience,
it's I could argue it 100 different ways, right? There are a whole bunch of different sides to it. If you're an athlete, you're not just someone who won the lottery. You know, a lot of people think he's playing a game, she's playing a game, they're making $1 million for doing something they love. How lucky are they? You know, everybody wants to be in the NFL. Everybody wants to be in the NBA. Every young kid, that's their dream, right? Or a lot of young kids. It takes a lot more than just being talented. First, you have to be gifted, tall, coordinated, athletic. You have to have work ethic. You have to work your behind off. You have to ignore going out to drink and being out with your friends and stay home and shoot baskets every night and every day and every morning. And you have to get lucky. And you can't be in a car wreck that you know, causes you an injury that means you can't play. And you have to get seen by somebody who might be able to get you into a good college that can prep you, or a good prep school. So there's a lot of things that have to come together. Becoming an NBA or NFL or baseball player is not a lucky, you know, manna from heaven just dropping into your lap. It's a lot of work. So people that do that's their income, they very rarely feel like, oh, I just got lucky and I'm getting this money, so I'll share it. They worked really hard for it. The other thing, they're not going to make $1 million a year for 20 or 30 or 40 years. They're going to make their money for a few years. And it's really hard for a 17-year-old kid or a 20-year-old kid to realize, I'm going to make $5 or $10 or $15 million, which sounds like more money than God has. But that money has to last them their whole life, because at age 23, they're a has-been. And now they're used to the lifestyle, the big cars, the fancy houses. But that income is sitting in the bank at $15 million or whatever it is, and they're generating $600,000, $800,000 a year from it. That's a good income. But if you spend more than $600,000 or $800,000 a year, that $15 million goes down to zero by the time they're 30 or 35. And then what can they do to go make that kind of money again? It's very hard. So protecting the money they earn when they only are going to earn it for a few years is very difficult. And I respect a lot of those people. They have to mature fast. I don't know about you. I didn't think about a retirement plan when I was 25 years old. I didn't think about life insurance until I had kids. So these folks have to figure out what to do with their money at age 20, while most people are thinking, all right, I'm 40 years old, I'm starting to think about what happens one day when I retire, or disability insurance. They got to figure it out fast. And that's sort of one of the things I enjoy about doing what I do, is seeing these people grow up fast and understand and figure out life at a very young age.